Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Liam Looks At, and today we are looking at Ghost of Yotei, which came out in 2025, and it is a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, a game I really enjoyed. So I want to get into kind of what I liked, what I didn't like, and just kind of do a quick review on everything about it. Ghost of Yotei is a sequel in name really alone to Ghost of Tsushima. This game has pretty much a whole new character, has a whole new era and location. So it really just focuses on similar combat and things like that, but they've really done a lot to improve the combat. I personally think the story is much better than Ghost of Tsushima. I'm going to get into that here in a little bit. And overall, I think that it is a really good game. I mean, spoiler alert to my thoughts on it at the end, but I think it was a really good game. Also kind of tackle the story because the story is a very simple one, which I actually like. A lot of games I feel like have very kind of long, convoluted stories. And this one I thought was pretty succinct. You are playing as Atsu, who is a character in the beginning as a child. Her family is killed by the Yotei 6. And a couple years later, she comes back and is looking for revenge to kill the Yotei 6, including Lord Saito, who is now going pretty much against all of the armies in Japan and is pretty much calls himself Lord. So he's been attacking the countryside and things like that. Everybody hates him. Real bad dude. But yeah, his army is made up of the Yotei six generals that he has that were there the night that Atsu's family was killed, and your job is to cross them off her killing list essentially. It's a pretty fun journey to have kind of each kind of chapter end with this big kind of boss fight, this duel, which Ghost of Tsushima was really good at duels. I think the biggest issue with Tsushima versus Ghost of Yotei was Tsushima really didn't have great characters to duel. You've got the general Khan, whatever, that pretty much is the main antagonist throughout the entire game, and then at the very, very end, spoiler for a game that's a couple years old now, you fight your uncle. So coming into Ghost of Yotei and having 6 kind of very specific characters that have their own backstories and have their own designs and things like that. I can't tell you another character that I fought in Tsushima, but I remember every character that I fought in this. Specifically the Yotei 6, I think they did a much better job of differentiating these characters, and that to me is a huge plus and really helped get through the game. Not that there was an issue there, but it really motivated me to want to see the conclusion and want to keep going, and almost to a negative because I didn't really want to get off the beaten trail as much as I did in Ghost of Tsushima. Take that with what you will. I thought it was a really good story overall. I think that there was a couple moments that I think could have been sped up a little bit. I spent about 30 hours to beat the main campaign. I did a lot of side stuff, but definitely didn't scratch the surface on what there is to be offered. I did a bunch of bounties. I did very few of the camps, and I didn't get a ton of the upgrades. I really didn't touch the skill tree as much, which because you have to go out and find shrines to upgrade your skill trees, which I didn't like as much as just earning skill points by playing the game. But that's kind of besides the point. But I did get all the weapons -1. I don't think I got the kunai, but I got all the weapons. I got all the firearms and distance weapons and things like that. So I spent a little bit of good time. I definitely think I did the bare minimum in terms of exploration. So I have a lot to do afterwards, and I definitely see myself going back and wanting to do it. But yeah, overall, I thought the story was really good. I liked it a lot better than I liked Ghost of Tsushima's story. I think that while Jin's story was interesting and the kind of conflict whether he's going to be a samurai or a shinobi because it's his whole honor thing, I thought that Atsu's story was definitely much more enjoyable because it was really more about just finding these people and taking them down and getting revenge, and slowly she kind of has some inner conflicts as the story goes along. But yeah, I really like that. Story wise, I definitely think it was an improvement. I've seen a lot of people not feel the same way, which I get it. Some people just liked Jin a lot, and I liked Jin as well. But overall, I really liked this story much more than Tsushima's, and I felt that way pretty much from the beginning. So that's something that kind of stayed true throughout the entirety of my playtime. I really, really liked the combat of Ghost of Tsushima 1. So I don't know why I said 1, Ghost of Tsushima. So this was a, obviously very similar combat style with the fighting and things like that. But instead of stances, they have now added new weapon types. I think that adding the new weapons is really cool. I think my issue with Ghost of Tsushima, which I still feel very much in this game, it's just a different kind of feeling, is the almost rock paper scissors-esque combat system where, hey, you need to use this weapon to fight this guy, or you need to use this weapon to fight this type of guy. If he's got a spear, you have to use dual swords. If he's got a shield, you have to use your Kusurigama and things like that. I am not a fan of that. I want to use the weapon that I want to use, and I feel like I was continuing to be punished for enjoying using certain weapons. And at the point, I just felt like when I was surrounded by enemies, it would be a mad dash to mash the button to kind of continually switch, which didn't feel fun. It felt like I was just constantly stopping combat to start up again, to stop it and start up again. And the enemies, all enemies, besides like very, very bare minimum swordsmen, have about 2 weapons. So you could be fighting a group of enemies that surround you, and you're kind of getting in the groove of things, and then they switch to another weapon. And if you don't take advantage of that, you're under leveled and underpowered essentially. And I will kind of touch on it now. So I played this game on hard difficulty. I was not expecting it to be so difficult. I played Ghost of Tsushima. Wow, I really butchered that. Ghost of Tsushima. I played it on hard, and I thought that it was the perfect challenge. I thought really the last fight was pretty hard in terms of when you're fighting like all the cons and things like that. But overall, I thought Ghost of Tsushima felt right on the hard difficulty. It felt like it was the mode that the game was made for. This did not feel the same. This felt unbelievably hard. And I granted I played it on hard mode, but there's another difficulty called lethal, which is like you do more damage, they do more damage. It's kind of like the realism mode. And the entirety of me playing, I felt like I should have just played on that because I was dying in 1 to 2 hits. Didn't matter how upgraded my armor was. Didn't matter what I was doing, if I was using the right weapons or whatever. I had I had all the charms that I needed. And I was just getting annihilated. The last fight, in particular, the actual last duel, like last thing you do, I died so many times that I finally got the screen pretty much saying, "Do you want to quit because you suck?" And so that was really annoying. That one took me a while. Overall, I didn't have anything that really stumped me to the point where I had to like put it down, walk away, and start again. But it definitely was more difficult than I was expecting. And I think if I had known from the beginning it was going to be like this, I probably would have played on normal. But, I was more so just kind of hit my head against the wall and be like, I am going to finish this on hard. I started it on hard. Overall, I thought this game was fantastic. Obviously, there are a few things here and there that I have nitpicks about. I really enjoyed the dueling. I think they improved on a lot of things from the first game. Stealth really felt about the same. I barely used it, and it really had no impact on me. So, I mean, that one is still, I know they wanted to be like half shinobi, half samurai game. I felt like I really didn't use the stealth. That's me personally, though. So, to each his own. And yeah, I thought the world was great. I thought a lot of the boss fights were really good, and I thought the story was overall a major improvement from the original. Not that I didn't like the original. So I'm definitely excited to jump back into this. I just want to get this quick review out. I know that it's a longer game, so it's surprising that I don't have as much to say about it, but I just want to get this out there, just kind of give my initial thoughts because I just completed it. Maybe I'll, come back and kind of give an update when I 100% it or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this review. As I said, I've got more games coming out, more reviews coming out specifically, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these. Hopefully everybody is liking these, and I'll check you guys in the next one. 2 thumbs up once again. That's gonna be a pattern, I'm sure. Goodbye.
刀剣一撃